Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Hey, it's your girl. Did y'all hear what my boy said? Mr. Pastor. Y'all know him. Pastor Moore says, He will. I don't even know the song, but I know He will. Good morning, good afternoon, good day. It's your girl, Pastor Angela Johnson. Of course, this is One Sister to Another podcast, and I'm heard live right here at the radio helms of intellectualradio.com. iHeart Radio. Of course, we are here. We are doing the thing because we know how to do it, and we thank God that we're able to do it. I am always sponsored by, of course, Everything Move Promoting and Consulting. Vending is my business. If you want your business to pop and you don't want your pastor to be firing you, your CEO, your boss to be firing you because you spent all the money, you may want to hook up with your girl 630-935-9093. Of course, I will help you to figure out how you can best make the thing do what it do. Y'all know why I love One Sister to Another podcast? I love it because it belongs to us. Come on here. I got my team with me. I got my team with me. I got my team with me. And we're excited today. I am mostly just elated and just excited because the sun is shining on the inside and is shining as well on the outside. And so we thank God so much for what he's doing, how he's doing it, and the fact that he didn't do it without us. We thank him so much. Listen at this. Today, I am mostly grateful that I can live and I can breathe through another Black History Month. I say another Black History moment. I say God has been good. He's been better than good. And guess what? We better give him praise while we can't give him praise because he deserves it. And so we're here today and we're going to talk on today's show, going to talk today on our show about Black history. Not only are we going to talk about Black history, but we're going to talk about, come on, y'all know the thing, real talk, education. Let's talk excellence. Can we talk leadership? Okay, can I say that again for y'all? Real talk, education. Let's talk excellence. Can we talk leadership? We're going to talk today about what that means and what it brings and how do we gel those things together. We're going to talk to I am proud today because we are going to kick our show off today talking to my executive producer who is transitioning slowly. Y'all keep praying for her. She's transitioning into being my co-host. She did this thing on last week. Her and Mai Tai, look, and I call her Miata. Yeah, her and Mai Tai did the thing on last week. And of course, we talked about relationships, dating, and all that because it's the month of love, right? But now that we're going toward the end of the month, we've got to talk education. We need to talk Black history. We need to talk our Black children. And of course, why is there so many disparities with that Black kid versus the Caucasian kids? And no point intended to my Caucasian friends, my Asian friends, none of you all, but I watch the way we are treated on every single level. Yet, y'all watch me now. Yet we bring a yes, yet we bring a dynamic to the thing where we are sometimes off balanced about the way they treat our children. And so we're going to talk about that. Listen at this. Of course, I am going to introduce our guests today, our educators. Listen, we got y'all. It is my executive producer's baby girl. So she's kind of like my god granddaughter, and my god grandson is on today. So of course, listen at this. She say her name. He says his name. We're gonna do it right in order. He says his name is Dakari, but we call him DK Lawrence. He's a proud dad, educator, and coach in Colorado. He received his bachelor's degree from Metropolitan State University in psychology. He strives to give back to his community that raised him and gave him everything he needed to be a positive influence on our today's youth. It is his goal to open our youth's eyes and expand their vision for their own successful futures by any means necessary. And so, of course, that's Dakari. Hey, Dakari.
How's it going, you guys?
It is going, going, going. Listen, before we get all the way into this real live situation today, I call it our show of excellence. I've got to introduce none other than my little baby, Trailer the Great, of course, his wife,
Y'all.
and of course, my executive producer's daughter. She says, my name is Trailer Lawrence. She says, I am a preschool ECE teacher. And of course, did I tell y'all, Dakari is the dean of students for a high school. And so we're going to talk about what his job entails as well. Okay. She's she's adamant about providing. No, let me say this too. She's of course got her bachelor's degree in childhood through education at Colorado Christian University. She is adamant about providing a safe space for babies and helping their parents with any and all development concerns and needs. She takes pride in her teaching and hope to create and inspire a community of well-rounded individuals. It starts now while they are young. She tells herself, I can catch them before their feet hit the ground. I can help build the future. Will you all help me welcome, look, the dynamic duo, husband and wife, Trailer and DK Lawrence. Let's give them a round of applause.
Y'all,
Hey!
hey,
Thank you for
You
having
all,
hey.
will you all do something for me? Of course, this afternoon, I want you all to greet our guests. I'm sorry, greet our watchers, greet our listeners, and share with them, both of you all. Share a little bit something about yourself, and then share maybe something folks don't know about you. And then we're going to talk about Black history as it pertains to
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
education.
ma'am. All right, all right. Well, hello, y'all. I am 25, a mother of three, married, and something that y'all don't know about me, I'm with kids 24/7. I love it. I love being with kids.
24/7.
Yes, yes. Exceptional patience. I love it. It's hard work though, but I'll take it.
uh,
Mr. DK?
yeah, I'm Dakari. I go by DK Lawrence. Um, Same thing, not too much different from Trailer here. I got three kids. We share the same children. Um, and I work in Denver public schools. I'm a football coach, so I love the sports. But it's always been a dream of mine to get into education and get back to DPS. So that's our school district out here. That's what I set out in high school to try to go study with psychology. So um, it just happened to work out the way that it did, man. Just being able to get back into schools and uh, I don't know. That's something that I feel like y'all might not have known.
Mhm. We're both
So, of course, Trayla, you are a elementary school educator, and of course, Dakari, you are the deans of students. And of course, I want to talk to y'all today. I thought it was really, really important for us to talk about while we're dealing with Black history. Come on, which we should be dealing with every day. I wanted to talk to our listeners and our viewers about education in this wise. I
Mhm.
want to talk about the disparities of our Black children. Listen at this, DK and also Trailer. Tell us this. How do you guys necessarily, as you are educators in your classrooms every day, how do you necessarily prepare your students? How do you prepare them every day?
Mhm.
As for me, when I get to this high school and go work, I want the kids to feel comfortable coming in first thing in the morning. So I'm standing there at the front of the school saying good morning first and foremost, making sure that they're having a good day before we get into any type of ID, go to class, any uniform stuff. It's always good morning. I want to make sure that they're comfortable going to the place that they have to spend a lot of their time. So that's one way to start for me.
Mhm.
We love it. Go ahead, Trailer.
So wait, one correction. I work with ECE preschool, so I'm with
Okay, okay.
little babies. But it's the same
Yeah.
thing that he said. We really try to create a good atmosphere and good feels and good vibes for the kids, giving them kindness and stuff because out there in the world they don't get that. They don't get that in elementary school. They don't get that in high school because it's a lot of people, impatient people who aren't teaching them. So one teacher at a time, one educator at a time, we try to provide them with kindness and a good environment. So that's how we prepare our students for the world out there. Give them the kindness and the love that they may not be getting at home.
This is absolutely amazing. So, of course, it leads me to another question for you guys, and we're gonna just talk about it. I want you all to share you and, of course, Dakari, DK. Y'all share with us today what made you go into what made you even believe you should be an educator. Talk to us about that.
Okay.
Two African Americans. Whoa, look, come on here, husband and wife.
Now, when I was a kid, I was always around other kids, but growing up, I always loved being around kids. And I think that's where it started. I don't know what it is about me that loves being around kids. And then after having my own kids, I decided, okay, let me go work at their school, just so that I'm sure that they're safe. I can keep an eye on them. But then as the years went on, I was like, okay, well, I really have built a strong relationship with the other kids. I really love, teaching, working with, laughing with, loving on other kids. So me being able to kind of develop that love and that care for other kids, just it brought a love to me that I didn't know that was in there. I didn't know that I had.
And we see that. We see
Mhm.
that in you every day. Go ahead, DK.
I feel like when I was in high school, I had a psychology class. It was like an AP Psych course, and I really was interested in studying the mind of how things work. And so, also being so heavily involved in sports, I wanted to be a coach. And then I also had teachers when I was in high school, and they were black educators, and they put me on to a whole lot of black education, about my history and about just being successful and making sure that I'm doing the right thing, basically.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to kind of follow them and, give back to the youth and let them know that I'm here for you guys as well. So by the time I was a senior in high school, I definitely wanted to go study psychology and figure out a way to reach out to the youth to give back to them the same stuff that I got, the same education, the same support, and just make sure that they feel supported in their community. Because I'm working in the same community that I grew up in too, so that's
We're loving it.
giving back a whole lot to them. So
Oh my God. And so of course you're seeing you guys are standing at that door. You know what the students are coming in every single day. I want to know from your perspective, first of all, as parents yourselves, but also as educators, I want y'all to share with us your day to day. What are you dealing with, Trayla and DK? What are you dealing with on a day to day with parents? I know what Tamara and I and Jay and I were dealing with when we would hear stories or that student would come to class and they may not be as clean as we were because my mama didn't play that. But on the other end of that, if your mom is a drug addict or your mom is going through some issues, your grandmom is doing the best she can. What are you all met with on a day to day, and how are you combating that?
Like I said, love and kindness. We in the area that I am in right now, we have seen kids from all sides of the world. I mean, rich kids to really, really poor kids, homeless kids. So I mean, they didn't grow up like we grew up, but we're gonna treat you, how I was treated when I was a kid. We're gonna love you how I was loved when I was a kid because they deserve that. They absolutely deserve that. It doesn't matter where they came from, it doesn't matter who their parents are, it doesn't matter what they've gone through. You deserve that kind of love when you are born into this world. And so we try to give them that love that they are lacking at home or in the communities that they're in at school. That's why school is so important, and being a teacher and being an educator is so important because you can give them what they don't have. You can give them the extra snack or feed them extra meal because
Come on, teacher.
yeah, it's important.
yeah, I want to second that because working with these high schoolers, uh, they're going through so much, man. You would think that you have a lot going on in your life, but these high schoolers, they be going through a whole lot more than adults do sometimes, man. And it's kind of tough to see that. So making sure that they're fed, making sure they're coming into the school feeling welcome, feeling like they have people that they could trust as in adults, that they could go to. That's a big deal for me. And working in the neighborhood that I work in, we deal with a lot of kids that I can't necessarily say what's going on inside of their household, but
Mhm.
what they show us at school, it kind of gives us a clue because these kids are out here doing a whole lot more than you could think of. I'll just say that.
So
But
so so that being said, DK and Trayla, How important is it with you guys to have the right relationships flowing between you and that parent? And how close are you to that situation? Can you give us some examples about maybe when you've had to, and we ain't saying no names, when you've had to kind of talk to that parent because you saw what little Bobby just wasn't his optimum best, and this student is smart or whatever.
Yeah, so for me, I have to deal with parents. I'm more of the discipline side of the school.
Yes.
So I have the kids that come in and stay with me for the day for in-school suspension, or I'm dealing with just, issues of them telling me like what's going on at home. Um, and I do have to go make phone calls to home. We have a lot of kids that have support, but then there's a pretty well majority of them that don't have the same support at home. So it's kind of tough. Trying to reach out to these parents can be an issue sometimes because they'll answer and they'll say, okay, I'll deal with him when he gets home. And then next thing you know, he's coming back to the school acting the same way. Or you'll have the students that don't have their parents at home. They're being, I don't want to say neglected, but their parents are looking for help as well. And it's not just the students, but the students have this heavy burden weighing on them when they go home of just being there and just seeing this all at the school. It's like these kids are going through so much more than we could understand. And it could be difficult to get the parents in there sometimes. So that's where we step in and we try to be that role model, or we try to step up and say, hey, we got your back. I'm somebody that you can trust when you don't have nobody. So
Amazing. God.
it really gets to be a tough thing to deal with, but it's also something that that we all enjoy doing because we come back every day for more.
Mm. So of course, Trailer, same question, but can I throw in there real quick that you guys, I'm sitting here saying to myself, I believe I had some awesome, awesome teachers, but if I gotta send my grandkids or my children to y'all, when I tell y'all I will be because I know Trailer from a baby, I will be chilling right now because you guys, you're the teachers' teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Trailer, and talk to us about how important it is for you to have good relationships with those parents.
So I'm gonna say the same thing that he said. I mean, it's very, very, very important, very detrimental to the kid because the kids' learning and their development depends on what you do at school, but then what you do at home as well. So y'all got to be on the same page. You got to talk to the parents. Hey, we did this at school. Can you continue doing that at home? Or can you do this at home and then tell me how it goes so that I can try and do something different at school? But like he said, they don't always want to, cooperate or work together with us on things because parents think that they're the parents. They get to do whatever they get to do with their kids, and teachers can't say anything. And that's fair. Parents take majority of the responsibility for their kids, but you're sending your kid with us for majority of the day, and we're not trying to take full responsibility for your kid, but we want to see your kid succeed. So let's work together. Let's do what's best for your kid, not to step on any toes, not to demean their work or anything like that, but let's work together, and let's try to build a brighter and better future for your kids. Sometimes parents, they don't like to hear that, they don't like to do that, so we just do the best that we can with the kids at school.
I'm gonna take us somewhere and then we'll come back. But I want to ask you all a question really quick, and then we're gonna go ahead and give you a little break. I want you all to tell me, and then we're gonna go back into what we believe we can do as parents to help you, the teacher,
Yes.
what you, the teacher, can help share with us, the parent, that we can do. And the reason why I say us, the parent, because I got grandkids now that are in school. Listen at this, Trailer and DK. Can you all share with us why do you believe something I asked on my Facebook page and it really pisses me off? Why do you believe there is such disparities between that black student and a Caucasian student? Do you believe it had? I'm going to let you tell us. Why do you believe there is such disparities? And I want to start with you, DK, because you look like you're ready to go on and tell us.
Be ready.
Come on, tell us.
About to say, please let me start on this one because I was thinking about this earlier, man, and it's not that there's so much of a disparity in the stuff that we're being taught. It's just that we have a lot of our colored students. I'll say, black students. We got, different race students. It's just a lot of kids that they would say are the minority. They don't have as much resources as
Okay.
the other schools might have.
Mhm.
And so when it comes to that, as educators, we end up in the classroom and we're like, okay, we can't really just focus on what you guys need to learn to graduate. We got to focus on some real life things.
Because that's what they're going through.
Whereas, yes, they're going through some real life things and they need to get through that. So they're looking for that social emotional care. They're looking for ways to cope with the stuff that's going on in their lives, and they're looking for support. Whereas when you go to a different school district that might be, predominantly Caucasian, we're looking at, they have all the resources. They're able to go have their parents pay for what they need. They're able to go, join whatever they want with no issues, and they don't have to worry about so many things. So when we look at the environment that the kids grow up in, I feel like that plays a huge role and how they come out in school, man. Like, we got to look at that. They need more support, more so in life than they might need in the classroom. But yeah, they definitely need the work still. We need their education, but I feel like you're learning two different things. You're learning how to cope with life, whereas you're trying to learn all the stuff from the books.
And you can't necessarily learn what's in the books if you're dealing with, whatever you got going on at home that's so severe, you can't concentrate. So they need that extra care as well.
I believe so. Listen at this. Of course, this is One Sister to Another with the show with information, inspiration, and godly revelation. And we're heard live right here, intellectualradio.com. iHeartRadio, of course, we are stream yarding and we have the best guests. Somebody say Black History today. Look, by way of leadership, by way of excellence, by way of education. And our guest today is DK Lawrence and also Trayla Lawrence. And we're going to take a break, going to give them a little break, and then we'll be right back. One sister to another. We'll be right back. Y'all better go ahead, baby.
Where is a box?
Who said that?
Somebody.
I'm ready, one.
Well, then, yeah.
Hey, it's your girl, Pastor Angela Johnson. Of course, we're back from our break. Y'all, today we're talking in honor of Black history. We're talking excellence, we're talking education, and we're talking leadership with my grandbaby, my grand godbabies, Trayla and also DK Lawrence. And so we wanted to, of course, grab some questions from our Facebook, from our Instagrams, and all that good stuff. And so one of the parents out here, you guys, they ask, how can parents help support the teacher at home? Okay, we already answered that question. How can parents, I think someone asked, how can grandparents, what can grandparents do also to help? What would be your encouragement to them today?
Well, we're going to start with reading. Reading and talking to your children. It seems so simple. It seems so basic, but it's the most important thing you can do for a early childhood learner is to read and talk to them like an adult, not the baby talk, like an adult.
Like
Say it again. Say that part again.
Okay,
No
okay.
baby
An
talk.
adult. We're not gonna say like an adult.
more so like a human being, you know,
Yeah.
not like a baby, just like a regular person. Like
Yeah.
how we're talking to each other now, we should be
Mhm.
talking to our kids just like this.
Mhm.
There's no reason why we gotta try to sugarcoat. Oh, do you want, like, you know, that stuff is gonna, it's gonna carry on with them.
And even just 5 minutes a day with one book, you know, it can take the child a long way because then they can build their comprehension, they can build their talking skills. You know, they learn a lot just by listening. Kids know a lot.
And we went to our son's school. He's in kindergarten, and they were teaching us all kind of different ways to get involved with reading. That was their main focus, was you guys need to read with your kids. We want you guys to read. So get involved by reading, and here's the different ways that you guys can read with your kids. One thing I will say, it's going to be different for early childhood education, as it'll be different between that and then for high school and middle school as well. When it comes to high schoolers, it's tough because it's hard to get involved, man. When grandparents have to get involved, I feel like, you know, just being there for support is going to be good. Making sure that they have somebody that they can trust, knowing that they can come to you for whatever you need if they don't have their parents. But yeah, it's just going to vary for the different ages of kids that you might have, though.
Right, right.
So I got a question for you, DK, which I believe is going to take us into our next segue us into our next segment. As African American educators, disciplinarians, how hard is your job? How hard do you believe your job? And I want you to give us the truth about the matter.
I'm gonna give you the truth. I'm gonna give you the truth. I feel like my job is easy, and that's just because I love what I do, man. I was told to get into what you love doing, and then if you love what you're doing, you'll never have to work a day in your life. And I'm doing what I love. That's working with kids. That's going through all these struggling days. They go through so much. Like, I could give you, okay, I'll give you an example. Like, we have kids at our school drinking, ninth grade, drinking to get through their day. We got kids hanging out with older people. We got kids, you know, ditching class, and, you know, not, you know, they're popping off at the adults, and it's just unacceptable. But I love doing this. I love dealing with those kids and saying, come with me, man. Let's figure this out.
Wow.
Because I'm not the one that made you feel this way. So let's figure this out. Let's try to figure this out, man. You come talk to me. You come let me know what's going on. So I can't say that it's a difficult thing for me. I love working with the middle school students because that's when you could catch them before high school. But the high schoolers, they need just as much love and care once they're there. So other people, it might be a little difficult. I heard people say they need 3 days off after dealing with a middle school class. So it can be difficult, but if you love what you're doing, man, that's what you got to do. You got to give back to the community.
I want both of you all to now tell me, and you're gonna love this question. Can you all share with us who were your influencers? Who influenced you all to become educators?
Wow, good question. I would have to say Miss Campbell. Miss Campbell, I think she was my preschool teacher, but she was the sweetest lady,
It was.
kindest lady. And I didn't think about her until recently. Until recently, I started to get really serious about teaching preschool and ECE. Because I understand how hard it is to be sweet and kind when you're dealing with preschool and ECEers. It's hard. It takes a lot of patience, and she was an exceptional lady at that. So that she was a powerful lady, and she inspired me.
Aside from my mom, because my mom instilled education in us from the start, and that was what we had to do to, you know, not be good in her eyes, but it was like she really encouraged us to take care of our education. Besides her, I would have to say I had 2 high school teachers, both Black educators. One is a doctor now, and I still keep in touch with him. We go to his house and stuff. His name is William Anderson. And he's the one that taught me about a lot of Black history, about knowing education. You can never learn too much. You're going to learn all the way throughout your life. He was a black man with dreads, looked just like me. That was one of the first educators I had that looked like that. And he taught history, so that he gave us everything he could and more. And then my other educator was Miss Linda Ross. That was my language arts teacher in high school. And she just kept that pressure on me, man. She's like, you're better than this. You could do better than this. I want you to go to a HBCU. This is all so important. It was important to her. She reminded me of my mom. That made me work even harder in her class. And
So influence means everything. Can we just say that? Listen at this. Someone put a comment out here that says, actually, it's the Avant from the Avant page. It says, our kids, and I want y'all to respond. Our kids need parental attention. They need parent attention.
Yeah.
Teachers can't replace parents. I want y'all to talk to that.
Yeah, that's difficult. I know we're with your children or their children all day long. We're a big influence on your children, but we can't parent your children. They're not our kids. We have a certain responsibility. We have certain rules that we have to abide by in the schools.
Come on.
Some kids need a certain type of discipline that we can't. We can't do that in the schools. So that's why I said we got to work together. We have to do what's best for the kids, and we have to be on the same page and communicate.
yeah, like she just said, I'm gonna reiterate that we can't be your kids' parents in the school, but coming from the higher up or high school and middle school, we just need the parents to be more involved. We want them to be coming to the school or attending every occasion or like activity that they have going, but when we don't get the parents to do that and the kids are looking for support, that's what the teachers are for. We want to work as a community. It takes a village to raise these kids. We can't do it alone.
Okay, and so of course, how about this? So Patricia Hawkins, got to read her comment. She says, yes, I love working with kids as a licensed behavior specialist consultant. She says, lead therapist. She says, I am enjoying this. She said, continue to love on our children and they will eventually give us their best. Not only will they give us their best, they're going to give us the love back. But one of the things you guys spoke about is going to help us to go right into our next set of questions. And of course, that is, what do you think our pluses and minuses are in reference to our children today and education? What do you all think we need to do more of? And what do you all think we need to kind of like fall back a little bit? So what do you think the need is being met or being the need is being met, or what do you think it's not being met in the school as it pertains to education?
I would say that we're giving the kids a lot of independence nowadays. So we're letting them make a lot of decisions, as opposed to holding them accountable for doing what, parents who have been experienced or educators who are experienced and have been through stuff. We got to hold them accountable for the stuff that we've been through as well, because our experience is our education. I feel like we've kind of started lacking that, we let the kids do what they want and they're going to do exactly that. They're going to follow their friends and their environment. So we have to be able to catch them and get them back onto the right path. And it's going to be difficult, but if we have parents and educators working together, then we could possibly have a better outcome.
Yeah.
If they're hearing the same thing from people more than once, and they might not like hearing it at home, but they hear it at the school, that may be something that helps the students.
Yeah.
I believe that too, DK. Go ahead, Trayla.
Like he said, we're giving the kids a lot of independence and a lot of freedom. With my little ones, I see a lot of what do they call it? Gentle parenting. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with gentle parenting, but it's okay for
Your mom over here she's tickled.
it's okay. It's completely okay for the kids to be wrong, for the kids to be sad for a second, for the kids to feel those emotions. I think gentle parenting is kind of avoiding those uncomfortable emotions that kids naturally need to feel, because when you get an adult, the world is not gentle. You're going to be mad. You're going to be sad. You're going to be angry.
Did your mama tell you that, Trayla? That's all I want to know. Did your
I was
mama
treated.
tell you
That's why
that?
I was raised, and that's why I'm
That's what
able
I
to
know.
deal
I
with
can
certain
see it all in.
stuff. That's why I'm able to deal with certain stuff because my parents say, "Hey, you don't get to do that. You don't get to act like that out here." So I had to deal with controlling my emotions, feeling them, but controlling them at the same time because it's necessary. We're humans. So that's something that we're trying to work around now in the schools. We are teaching the kids, to be more independent, and to basically just feel those emotions. So we just need to work together with that. We need to work.
Now it's so funny you just mentioned that.
Mhm.
Listen at this. Someone commented. Her name is Abby. Abby commented and she said, I'm trying to go back to it.
See.
I'm so sorry. Abby says, "Do you agree that if we as adults listen more to the children today than judge them, children would be more apt to change for the better and be more productive for society? And how important is it for husbands and wives, moms and dads to be on one accord in front of the little babies at home?"
Yeah.
So that they will believe this, right? You know what I'm saying? Talk to us about, do you all agree that us as adults should listen more versus judge? And I think that's our issue right now as parents. We judge our kids
Mm-hmm.
inadvertently, we do it, but we should not do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like when we judge our kids, we're gonna just tell them like we're gonna think however we want about you without letting you tell us who you are,
Mm-hmm.
and that could kind of hinder them from staying open and honest with us.
Yeah.
So if we do listen to them, yes, that will be beneficial. I also feel like we might need to start adapting to their times. Like the times change, and
Hmm.
it's tough to do.
You
They're
just
going
said
through a
something right
whole
there.
lot of they're doing a lot of technology stuff. Like they could make a lot of money from technology, but if we as parents are, stuck in traditional ways and we want you to go to college and we want you to go do this way, then that could kind of hinder us too from creating a really good connection with our own children.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be able to start listening to what their desires are, what their needs are, how they're feeling. We got to check in with our kids. We got to give them a reason to come back to us, so that they can tell us what's going on in their life. So we're not guessing and thinking that they're out here doing this. When we're judging, we're just leaving it to ourselves to say, I think you're doing this. You look like you're doing this. And that's how we're going to treat it. But if we do listen and take a step back and, keep your discipline the same way, but try to adapt to what your children are going through in their new times, then I think it'll be a little bit easier to work with them.
To
Yeah.
work with them. Go ahead, Trailer.
Yeah. It's funny because in a training that I'm doing for school, we are just learning about how we're not supposed to judge and kind of shut down our kids. So when you got little babies, and for those who have little babies, what's their favorite word? What's their favorite word?
No.
Yeah, that's it.
No.
That's it. And so usually we're like, you don't tell me no, you don't do this, you don't. But to give them that independence, and not to say too much independence, but kids already don't make a lot of decisions. So we're learning to allow them to say no and redirect them to different options. You can't do everything, but here, if you don't want to do that, you can do this and this. You got two things you get to choose, so that they at least feel like they have a little bit of choice. So it's just not judging them and not being too hard on them to where they feel like they're closed up and they can't make decisions without mom and dad. We have to.
Totally, totally.
Yeah, we,
Listen, so Mia Griggs, first of all, everybody is giving all these shouts out to my pal couple today. Trailer and DK, they say that you guys are doing an awesome, awesome job. Everybody is proud of you. Mia Griggs says, I agree that we as educators can't replace parents. Come
Mhm.
on here, Griggs. I'm with you. But when the parent isn't emotionally there,
Yeah.
we sometimes serve as surrogates or extensions as well as educators. My students respect me,
Yep.
sometimes serve as, okay, sometimes serve as, my students respect me. We sometimes serve as surrogate or extensions as well as educators. My students respect me, sorry, y'all, me sometimes more than the parents because there's no consistent discipline, meaning properly modeling, teaching the children.
Yep.
I'm going back to the same question, you guys, my power couple. How important do you believe it is for us to model what we preach and not just be this noisy way. Hey, La Bobby, do it because I tell you to do it, okay? But Daddy, you didn't do what you're telling me to do. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at you run up the street around the corner and be a liar, be a deceiver, because you snipping off with somebody else when you should be with my mama. Come on.
Mm,
Now we don't look at stuff like that, right? But
yeah.
as students in a school, they're looking at all of this. They're seeing you. Most of our teachers back in the day, y'all, do y'all remember this? Y'all may not. Most of our teachers lived in our neighborhoods. How how important is it to make sure me as the parent, I'm influencing my children at home and at the school? Talk to us.
Mm.
I feel like that's the most important thing when you're showing your students or kids how to act. That's what you would hope that they take to the school. But like, for us, we got that dysfunction. We have a lot of families who the parents are not there, the kids are acting out, the kids are dressing however, the kids are doing whatever they want, and it's mostly because the families aren't there. And um, I will agree with Miss Griggs by sometimes you have to step up and be that role model. You got to be that person that's gonna get those students in check. You're going to have to discipline them in a way that is appropriate for your school district.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, tell them when they're wrong. You're going to have to let them know what they could do different. Be there for them to, come to you, be a shoulder to cry on, be just support. Because I referenced it a little bit earlier. We have a lot of students going through a lot more than what we would think that they're going through or what we've been through. And to that point, I miss, there's kids at our school that have been homeless. There's kids at our school that get kicked out, that are being abused at home or whatever the case is. And, they don't have their parents always. So that's another thing that I love is being an educator, is being able to step into those spots and giving those kids somebody that they could trust and making sure that they're not alone so that they could go make the right decisions and continue what they want to do. But not every kid has that. There's a lot of parents that are never home and they're being raised by their siblings, or they have to go home and take care of their siblings. And it makes sense that they're coming to school acting the way they are, or why they need more support than other students. So,
Trayla, I didn't hear you.
Oh, I was just saying they have a lot on their shoulders, so
A
that's the way they
a
act.
lot.
Yeah.
So someone is asking, you guys have children.
Mhm.
How old are your children?
we have 3 kids. Our oldest is 6. That's Shakur. We got a middle child. She's the girl. She's
3.
3.
And our youngest is 1.
Is 1.
Back to back to back.
Back to back. And so of course you're having to read this right. Of course you're having to look at 3 sets of characters. Listen, I've got some statistics I want to read, and then I want y'all to go ahead and hit it, and we're going to end our show today, but I hate to end the show. Listen, compared with 47.1% of white adults only 30.8% of black adults have earned some form of college degree. Remember what I said? Disparities. And why is it? Of course, you got different sets of rules in every state, I guess. Studies according to Harvard University have shown how early childhood trailer education programs can prepare children to develop the social and emotional skills they need to succeed and graduate high school. Other benefits of ECE can include earning higher grades and having a lifelong enthusiasm for reading and learning. You just said the doggone grandmama and the parents ought to be reading with them too.
Yep.
Studies have also shown that children who attend high quality ECE programs as children can develop an improved attention span, which can lead to more productivity in their adult careers. I want y'all to help us in the show today, Lawrence's, by sharing with our viewers and our listeners in your own way what we can do as leaders going forward. What can we do as leaders going forward to make this thing called education tighter and gel it a little bit better as the parent, as the leader, as the educator?
So we'll go ahead and let you start with early education.
Yeah. Early.
Okay. Well, as leaders, like we were just talking about, practice what you preach. give the kids something to look at, something positive to look at. You want them to be respectful, you want them to be kind, you want them to be clean and cleanly. You should probably do the same thing. Show those kids the way you want them to be, because they do hear you and they're listening, but they're watching you much more intensely than they're listening. So go ahead and show them. It's hard for us as adults to control our emotions and to control our mouths, most importantly. But that's something that we are going to have to just bow down and say, all right, I'm not going to yell at little Tommy today. I'm going to go ahead and let little Tommy get his attitude out and be like, okay, little Tommy, it's okay. I understand where you're coming from. I understand how you're feeling, but we're going to go ahead and do things this way. And of course, he's going to listen eventually. It's just going to take a lot of practice. It's going to take a lot of practice, but that's something that we should do, is be role models for our kids.
Excellent trailer. My God. Go ahead, DK.
Yeah, stay involved with the kids. Um, I'm sorry. Hold on. Can you ask the question again, real quick?
Yeah, encourage that parent, that grandparent, as a leader, as an educator, what they can do to make this thing called education jail. How can we bring it all together finally so we can have an amazing outcome or resolve?
Mhm.
It would be good to give your kids space as they get older, give them a little bit of independence, but let them know that you're still there and that they should still listen to you. I think that we just have to be able to work together again as educators and parents. When parents are struggling with their children, I think that is good for them to reach out to
Yeah.
educators to let us know
Yeah.
that you're struggling, and look for resources, man. Because not only do the students
Mhm.
need resources, but parents need resources too.
Totally.
And it's that's what we're in the schools for again. We have all the resources you need. If we don't have it personally when you ask us, then we could send you to somebody that has it. And I've dealt with that a lot this year. So
Mhm.
I would just say for parents to please reach out to anybody. It doesn't really matter who. We're going to find the resources for you, get the help that you need in dealing with the students as they get older.
Right.
But just stay involved, heavily involved. Make sure you keep an eye on them, discipline. But just know that you do have help. We're working together to make sure that we have a positive future for all of our students, because
Love
these
it.
are our kids too.
Mhm.
So just don't never feel like you're alone. And
Awesome.
in times like that, just reach out.
Yeah.
Look, and so of course, DK, Trayla, can you share how can people get in touch with you two about coming to their events, coming to their church to speak to their youth? How can they get in touch with you guys?
Email, phone number, my
Can
phone.
you go ahead and give us that?
Yeah, my phone number is 773-992-8001. And then my email is Trela, my first name, TRELAHJ at gmail.com.
Okay, DK.
Yeah, so my email is gonna be first name Dakari, Dakari, and last name Lawrence, Lawrence at yahoo.com. You could look us up on Instagram. We have a family page. It's called Steady Network Productions. And we just post pictures of families. We do a little photography. But yeah, again, that's Steady Network Productions, all one word, Steady Network Productions. Or you can hit us in our email, and we are more than happy to talk about more of this.
Yeah,
Of
definitely.
course, I believe it was Rochelle. Is it Rochelle Simpson
Oh,
who
shit.
just said, "You guys have been absolutely phenomenal"? Hey, Rochelle, I may have
Love you,
not said
Michelle.
it the way you said it, but I am saying it. You guys,
Love
I'm telling you,
you.
by far have been the best guests I've had on One Sister to
Yeah.
Another. Listen at this. We getting ready to go. I tell y'all, the time is always doggone slipping away from us. But I want to thank, of course, my team, executive producer, of course, Miss Tamara Woodard, of course, executive engineer, producer, all of it. Jay, thank you, Trailer, who's sitting right there. Thank you, Dakar, for giving her the opportunity and giving her the time to be able to help us. Thank you, of course, Miss Wanda B and Earl Winfrey, the other Winfrey, intellectualradio.com. Of course, I am one sister to another. I'm one sister to another. I'm the show with information, inspiration, and godly revelation. And we're heard live right here at intellectualradio.com. Don't y'all forget to hit me up. Of course, y'all know I got a book. And of course, we're getting ready to start the book read on March 15th. It's all this show this month. For the rest of the month, it's all about education. It's all about leadership. It's all about leading. It's all about excellence as it pertains to Black History Month. Y'all, the only people I knew who could help me pull this off today was these two right here. The Lawrences. Come on. And they are not Donald Lawrence, huh? They
Thank
are
you
the
all.
Lawrences, DK and Trailer. Of course, One Sister to Another podcast. We're here every Saturday, 1 p.m. until 2 p.m. We will see you all on next week. Hit me up 630-935-9093. Or you can email tomorrow if you need us to come and host your show. Come and host some stuff for you. Onesister, the number two, ANOTHERPR at gmail.com. We'll be back next week.
Thank y'all for having us.